Coming up on 5 Minute News. Under temporary ceasefire, Hamas releases 24 hostages. 34 arrested in far-right Dublin riots. And Amazon hit by protests across Europe during Black Friday. It's Friday, November 24. I'm Anthony Davis. Hamas released 24 hostages today who had been held captive in Gaza for weeks, including 13 Israelis, 10 people from Thailand and 1 from the Philippines, according to Qatar, in the first stage in a swap for Palestinians prisoners in Israel under a 4-day ceasefire deal. The agreement opened the way for sorely needed aid to flow into Gaza for beleaguered residents. It was also a moment of hope for families in Israel and elsewhere worried about loved ones taken captive during Hamas's October 7th attack, which triggered the war. With the truce's start Friday morning, Gaza's 2.3 million Palestinians saw quiet for the first time after 7 weeks of relentless Israeli bombardment, which has killed thousands, driven 3/4 of the population from their homes, and flattened vast swaths of residential areas. Rocket fire from Gaza militants into Israel went silent as well. The freed Israeli hostages included 8 women, 6 of them in their 70s and 80s, and 3 children. Their release was to be followed in the evening by the freeing of at least 39 Palestinian prisoners, 24 women, including some convicted of attempted murder for attacks on Israeli forces, and 15 teenagers jailed for offences like throwing stones. But joy at the deal has been tempered among Israelis by the fact that not all hostages will be freed, and among Palestinians by the briefness of the pause. The short truce will leave Gaza mired in humanitarian crisis and under the threat that fighting could soon resume. Israel says the ceasefire could be extended if more hostages are released, but it has vowed to resume its massive offensive once the truce ends. That has clouded hopes that the deal could eventually help wind down the conflict, which has fueled a surge of violence in the occupied West Bank and stirred fears of a wider conflagration across the Middle East. Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar said on Friday it was safe to return to Dublin city centre after police made 34 arrests following overnight rioting that was triggered by the stabbing of 3 young children in the street. Irish police have warned that further violence could follow after rioters smashed shop windows, set fire to police cars, buses and a tram, and clashed with officers in violence rarely seen in the Irish capital. Those involved brought shame on Dublin, brought shame on Ireland, and brought shame on their families and themselves, Varadkar told a news conference. A 5-year-old girl remained in a critical condition on Friday following emergency treatment for serious injuries sustained in the stabbing, which happened near a school and beside the main thoroughfare of O'Connell Street. Police, who say they have not ruled out any motive, including whether it was terror-related, have not commented on the nationality of a man detained in connection with the stabbings, but there was immediate speculation online that he was foreign. Police blamed far-right agitators for starting the violence after a small group of anti-immigrant protesters arrived at the scene of the stabbing and clashed with police. Varadkar said his government would take immediate steps to tighten anti-hate legislation he said was unfit for the social media age. Amazon workers walked out on strike at multiple locations across Europe on Friday in protests against the US e-commerce giant's working practices on one of the busiest shopping days of the year. Make Amazon Pay, a campaign coordinated by the UNI Global Union, said strikes and protests would take place in more than 30 countries from Black Friday, the day after the US Thanksgiving holiday, when many retailers slash prices to boost sales, until Monday. Originally known for crowds lining up at big box stores in the US, Black Friday has increasingly moved online and gone global, fueled in part by Amazon, which this year has advertised holiday discounts from November 17th to November 27th. In Germany, Amazon's second biggest market by sales last year, trade union Verdi estimated that around 2,000 workers went on strike across 6 Amazon fulfillment centers in Germany. It said 500 workers had gone on strike at a warehouse in Rheinberg, accounting for nearly 40% of the workforce, and around 250 workers had done so at a warehouse in Leipzig, accounting for about 20% there. An Amazon spokesperson in Germany said only a small number of workers were on strike and that workers are paid fair wages, with a starting salary of more than €14 an hour. The spokesperson said deliveries of Black Friday orders would be reliable and timely. In England, more than 200 workers were striking on Friday at Amazon's warehouse in Coventry as part of a long-running dispute over pay. An Amazon UK spokesperson said minimum starting pay is between £11.80 and £13 an hour depending on location, and would increase to £12.30 to £13 an hour from April 2024. 5 Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. The holidays are right around the corner, and HelloFresh can take the stress out of dinner by delivering everything you need to cook up tasty meals right to your door, saving you tons of time. Just like always, HelloFresh's ingredients travel from the farm to your front door, so you know they're fresh, and everything arrives pre-portioned so you can get right to cooking quick. HelloFresh makes cooking so easy and fast, I've personally been inspired to do more home cooking because of it. Go to hellofresh.com/5minutefree and use code 5minutefree for free breakfast for life. 1 breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at hellofresh.com/5minutefree with code 5minutefree. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.